The injuries piling up for the Knicks as they head to a Game 3 tonight in Indianapolis. No surprise, but here was the injury report yesterday. Jalen Brunson, questionable with the foot. OG Anunoby out at least for tonight. We all suspect it'll be more with the hamstring. Despite all of this, our beloved Stephen A. still believes.
You should be proud of this team.
I am proud.
Whatever happens.
Yeah. I am proud.
Really? I mean,
I am proud, but damn it, it ain't over yet.
Well,
the epitaph is not written.
Okay.
It's not a funeral yet. You still got 2-game lead. They got to win 4 of the last 5 games. No.
Okay. There's something about Bob saying to Steve, you should be proud of this team, that I just find amusing. That said, if you had to use one word to describe the state of the Knicks right now, what would that word be?
Crisis. They have reached a crisis point of injuries with Brunson questionable. Anunoby, who's the glue on defense and off, he's really the glue all over the place. They're just running out of players. And everyone is so smitten with this team and how tough they are and this unbelievable Brunson run. And they're up 2-0. And Indiana's the Cinderella team. No one knows what to make of them. I think Indiana could win the series if New York is just running out of players. Indiana has more of a shot than people are giving them credit for. They go home right now. They win tonight. This is a series, and if the Knicks can't get healthy, I mean, they're going to have to start playing guys real minutes who have barely played unless Tibbs just plays the starting 5 the entire game. I think Indiana has a shot to rally here.
For those who don't know the lineup well, all 4 of those names you just saw there are forwards. They're all essentially interchangeable pieces. They have no one to go in for them, which is why I've only half-jokingly said they need Chiney Ogwumike tonight in the worst possible way. So what does that make you think, Drea?
You know, I don't know, Zach. I hear you say crisis, and I get it because of the injuries. But in my opinion, especially if Brunson sits out this game, like, I know he's listed as questionable.
Say that again. If Brunson sits out this game.
If he sits out.
Should he sit out this game?
I don't know how he feels, but if they deem that sitting out is more beneficial because he'll be better for later in the series, if he needs to sit and he needs to rest, and they lose this game, and then he is in better health for the rest of the series, I think the Knicks are in a decent spot. They've put themselves in a comfortable position by being up 2-0. They give themselves some room to breathe. They give Brunson a little room to rest if he needs to. If he feels like he can go and play the way he did in Game 2, then great. Let him go. But we don't know how his foot's feeling. Chiney, you were just talking about how that game could have been adrenaline, right? What he was feeling and the way he was able to play. If they feel like he can't go, they've put themselves in a position being up 2-0 for him to rest. Give those other guys that haven't had a ton of minutes, give them an opportunity to put some things on tape.
Any minute.
Learn on film, figure some stuff out. Give those guys an opportunity to figure some things out, and then Brunson comes back. I think being up 2-0, they're in a decent spot right now with all the injuries that they have.
Listen, I'm a professional sportscaster. I live in the city, and I spent time yesterday memorizing the pronunciations of the names of some of the people who might wind up. Precious Achiuwa, I know.
He might have to play 38 minutes.
They're going to play guys that you literally don't know, that you've never seen before.
They're up 2-0. They're up 2-0.
That's the point.
They're up 2-0.
So do you give up a battle in the hope of ultimately winning the war, and especially if they think Anunoby could still come back in this series, which I think is very much in question? How do you see it?
I think Jalen Brunson has everybody exactly where he wants them. I mean, I don't see a world in which Jalen Brunson would not play tonight. Just knowing his character, knowing who he is. And by the way, I hear everybody's worrisome about the foot. New Yorkers are so funny. It's an extreme. We win one round, you're in the NBA Finals, everybody cheers. All of a sudden, a couple guys go down. It's like, oh, now we're going to lose. We're not going to come back, even though we're up 2-0.
Guys go down. Jay.
I hear you, Gritty.
They are a mash unit.
Indiana plays with a lot of possessions within the game.
Yeah.
Volume of possessions. It increases your risk for mistakes. I'm telling you, I still think even guys being down, even with Jalen Brunson missing the first quarter and second quarter, they were still in the game. I get that OG had 28 points and carried the load, but I think New York out-executes Indiana. I think they find ways, and I think Jalen Brunson being in the game down the stretch gives them a puncher's chance. All you have to do is win one. One.
Yeah.
Of the next 2.
Of the next two.
For sure.
Win one.
And then you're in control. I get it.
Yes.
Look, my mind is with Drea, but my heart is with Jay. And in these instances, we've seen. Oh, did it take a second for you? Shoot against my mind is with Drea in that you should probably rest him and make sure he's better for the following 3 games. But knowing Jalen Brunson, this guy suits up for everything. He's built for war. He's built for battles. And I don't see a circumstance where he will feel comfortable watching his teammates out there.
I get that.
Going out there and
Can I throw one other thing into the conversation?
Because we thought the same thing about Joel Embiid in the first round. Hey, he should sit. And then next thing you know, he comes back and has a statement game. And he was doing that to show his teammates that we're not out of this.
They weren't up 2-0, though.
That is true. That is true.
And the other piece of this is Game 4 is 36 hours later. This is a very quick turnaround. They play tonight. night, and then Game 4 is Sunday afternoon on ABC.
You mentioned the war versus the battle, and I think by the war you meant the full series.
Yeah.
To me, the war is beyond that, and that's the interesting thing about the Knicks and the not sad, but like the East is there for the Knicks. Like if they were actually healthy, they would have a puncher's chance against Boston if Boston gets out of the next series. That's the war, and that's where the injuries piling up is an even bigger deal. It's not just this series. It's this team's got something special going. And it's reaching a point where, like, I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. And that's even setting aside that Randall, who we'd never talk about anymore, is out for the whole season.
Yeah, they should only sit him if it is deemed necessary. Like, if it's like, hey, this thing needs some time. Like, this thing needs more than 36 hours for you to feel like you can go. I do think Brunson's a fighter. I think he can push through some sort of pain. Of course, he is so tough. He embodies what New Yorkers are made of, right? That toughness. Yeah. But if they're like, hey, this thing needs to calm down if it's in play. I don't know what's wrong with it.
But you know this.
They've given themselves room to do that.
You know this. We both hoop. We all hoop. Zach, when did you hoop?
He's in the low post.
I hoop.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, you hoop too.
Oh, I am silky. Money.
So for me, there's a big difference with OG. We all know that he's conservative when it comes to injuries, but there's a difference with a hamstring versus a foot. Yeah. When there's a foot, there's ways that you can sort of thug through it in ways that you cannot do that with a hammy. And so I think that, lends to Jalen Brunson's benefit. But overall, I do think he's the type of guy that will be out there. I think that's how, and also if you saw the way that they ended the last game, he sort of got a taste of what's to come. He trusted his teammates more. They started blitzing him, trapping him, and he was releasing. And what happened? Isaiah Hartenstein went out there and started diming. I think he realized that, hey, I can take pressure on myself based off of how they played me last game.
Well, Zach, to your point that we had in the pre-production meeting, though, it's like if OG's not playing and that was the matchup for Pascal Siakam, if you're Rick Carlisle, I can't keep giving high dosages of Nembhard guarding Jalen Brunson.